All right, welcome back. We are going to be starting week 6. I'm going to go ahead and start this out by apologizing because I have a very large pit bull that is snoring in the background. So if you hear any weird noises, that's my dog in the background. I just wanted to make that clear before we got started. So for this week in week 6, we have about 4 assignments that you're going to complete. Only one of them I really feel like I really need to explain in much detail, so I'm going to try to make this a short lecture video if I can. One thing that I do want to announce and bring up before we get started is that the course evaluations have now opened up not just for this class, but also for pretty much all of your classes. And I wanted to point out to you where you would be able to take that if you wanted to give us some feedback, not only on this class with things that work, things that maybe you felt like could have been improved upon, especially right now with COVID and how most classes are online. And probably some of you prefer face-to-face classes, but you're having to do some of your classes online. But it gives us some good feedback that we could use, hopefully, to try to make the classes a little bit better. So you will see here in our Canvas homepage, right underneath the syllabus, you're going to see a link for course evaluations. You should also get an email from the school that allows you to take your course evaluations that way. So whichever way that you want to go about it, it's fine. So if you click on that and you choose our class, you can do the course evaluation. It should only take about a few minutes. And then there should be a little section at the very end where if you have any specific feedback that you want to give about the class, you can. Things that you liked, things that maybe you felt could have been improved upon for yourself, because everybody learns differently and there could be other things that we could try to incorporate in our classes if possible. And we appreciate that. And so you can earn 3 bonus points for doing the course evaluations for our class. And you're going to find underneath the week 6 folder, when we scroll down here in a little bit, I haven't posted it yet, but there's going to be a folder that's by itself that is going to be for the course evaluations. And all you need to do after you complete the course evaluation is you should see a dashboard page that's going to show the list of your classes, and it'll show a check mark, a green check mark next to the class that you've taken and completed the course evaluation. And you just need to take a screenshot of that page, that dashboard page that shows that you've taken the course evaluation for our class. And that's what you're going to upload into the assignment folder that I'm going to put there underneath the week 6 folder. And that way you can earn 3 bonus points. And I just do that to try to encourage people to take the course evaluations because I know it's easy to forget about it. They should be open for about 2 weeks for you to be able to take. So if you don't take it right away, it's not a big deal. And I'll probably put another reminder out there either by email or I'll mention it in my next lecture video when it comes closer to the time that the course evaluations are going to close. So that way you remember to take it if you want to try to get the bonus points. And we appreciate it. We like to have the feedback just so we can try to make the class the best that we can. There's always things that we can change and improve on. So we'll appreciate that if you take the course evaluation. So for week 6, we are talking about taking control of your college and life. And we talk about some things like financial management, the power of a budget, credit cards, if you haven't actually gotten a credit card yet, the good, the bad, things like that. It has some more information about financial aid. And then we kind of go into learning management as far as taking notes. It's a really good reading over different ways that you could take notes, especially if you're one of the people that have maybe always taken notes a certain way, but you don't really find a benefit from taking your notes. There's different styles of note taking, and this reading has a lot of good information. And then you do an activity that kind of reflects on it to try to basically analyze whether the way that you've taken notes, if it's working for you, that's fine. But if there's things that you might want to try that could maybe potentially give you the ability to take better notes that could actually benefit you when it comes time for studying and things like that. So you'll have an activity after that. We have a reading over mastering memory, and then one for preparing for tests, which is really good because there's a lot of good information in this reading on ways that you could prepare for tests. And this is talking about things that you can do before a test, things that you can do during a test to try to maximize and be able to be more successful while you're actually taking your test. And then there's some information about what you can do after the test is over to not only kind of reflect on how you did on the test when you took it, but also things that you can do so the next time that you have to take a test for one of your classes, how you could improve upon it based off of what you've learned from the test that you just took. So there's a before, during, and after portion of it that you should focus on before you do this activity where you're reflecting on preparing for tests. And then there's a reading for strategies for different exam formats because there are different formats. You have some professors that like to do, multiple choice, true, false, essay questions, things like that. And there are a lot of strategies that are helpful that could potentially maximize how you do on tests, especially if there's certain things that you feel like you don't do well on tests. Like if you feel like you don't do well on the essay portion of tests, or maybe you tend to not do as well on multiple choice because you maybe always feel like you don't choose the right answer and you second guess yourself and things like that. So you'll definitely want to check out this reading and kind of go through that, click on any links or videos. And then there is a PowerPoint here that when you click on it, it has information on how to be successful in math. And this will be a good PowerPoint, especially for people if feeling confidence in math courses is something that you have always been hesitant about, or you don't feel like you do as well in math. There's some good information here about how to be successful in your math courses. So read through that. When you click on the PowerPoint, even if you don't have PowerPoint on your computer, you should still be able to view it within Canvas. If you click on the actual link for it, it should still pop it up in Canvas if you don't have PowerPoint on your computer. So the only real assignment that I'm going to kind of go over, just because it depends on your computer and how it works, I'm going to go over this activity for creating a budget, just so you kind of know what it is I'm looking for and how you're going to submit it. This right here, when you're completing the financial management reading and then you complete this activity, take the quiz, it's not a graded quiz. It's a quiz that you take where actually it's more beneficial for you. And it's just kind of gauging where you're at as far as your budgeting skills, financial management, stuff like that. It's kind of just a self-information quiz. So please take that. You're not getting graded on it, but it's just a good quiz because after you're done, it gives you a little results page, and it's just something more for your information and where you're at currently with how you do, financial management, basically. So take that. And then when you get down here and you read about the power of a budget, you're going to have this activity for creating a budget. Now, some of you may have already learned how to do this, you're comfortable with how you do budgeting, but this is an assignment that has basically a spreadsheet. You don't have to do anything complicated. I'm going to click on it so you can see it. You don't have to do anything complicated in order to complete the spreadsheet. It's 4 different slides or pages that you're basically filling information in, and then you're going to copy it with your information and then basically upload it into the assignment folder with your information added to it. So I have had it where some students have difficulty getting the spreadsheet to work on their computer and it won't update automatically like it's supposed to. So I'm going to tell you what you can do if that happens to be the case if you try to do it on your computer. But it's a really simple and easy budget tool that some of you may decide to save this and keep it on your computer because it's a very easy to follow way to go, like a month by month budget where you're keeping track of all your expenses, and it updates for you if you can get it to work on your computer properly. It updates everything for you where you can kind of keep track of not only what your expenses are, but how much money you're putting in savings, and you can really look at it and get a detailed view of maybe things that you might be able to look at and go, if I cut some of these things out, I'll be able to put more money in savings and things like that, because not everybody's really learned how to budget or has good tools for budgeting. So we do this activity to kind of give people the chance to practice a very basic budget where you're kind of taking a really good look at what your incoming funds are and then what kind of things you're spending money on, and it updates everything. It's supposed to update everything as you're adding information into the spreadsheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it and just kind of go through it so you can see what it looks like and see the 4 different sections that you're filling in and just kind of explain it as we go. And then if you're able to save it to your computer and get it to update automatically, after you add all your information, you'll just save your information to it. And then you're going to basically re-upload it with your information added to it into this assignment folder. So that way I can see all your information added to it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it here just so we can kind of see what we're talking about. And so for this, once it all pops up, So you're going to have this first page. It already automatically, for whatever reason, has $2,000 as your total monthly income. You would just change this amount if you have a different income coming in. Even if you stay at home with your parents, but you work a part-time job and you get a certain amount of money per month, you're going to basically update this to generally show what it is that you have incoming per month. If you don't have a job, you live at home, and you don't technically have an income coming in, you can do this hypothetically, where you could maybe look at the career field that you're planning on going into and going, okay, if I get into this career field, I would be bringing in about $3,000 a month after taxes. You can do this hypothetically if you want to, just to kind of get it done and just see a budget and see how things look on there. So I'll kind of explain that a little bit more detail in a second. But in general, you'll be able to type in your actual monthly income. You'll be able to erase this $2,000 if that's not what your income is, and add it the way that you want to. Generally, if you actually click on the fields, you'll be able to delete it and then type in whatever it is that you need to type in. Now, this first page that's on the budget is going to be what updates as you add information. So you're not actually typing anything into this first page of the spreadsheet. When you get to the second page, this is where you'll be able to change the amount of your monthly income. So whatever your main income source is, your job, whatnot, you would be able to delete this $2,000. You'd be able to put whatever your monthly income is coming in, like after taxes, what it is that you make. And you're going to want to base this off of last month, because last month has already happened. So you'll be able to take a good look at how much money you had coming in from paychecks and whatnot. You'd be able to use that information. And then you'd also be able to use information from any bills that you paid from last month. You'd be able to look at any of that, like on your bank statements or anything like that. So you're filling out the budget based off of all your information from last month. So if you have another income source, it could be child support, it could be, a second job or anything like that, you would be able to enter that information here. And then on the third page, you're going to see where it actually gives you categories already. So if you have rent or a mortgage payment for a home that you own, whatever that amount is that you paid last month for your rent or mortgage, you'd be able to put that here. If you live at home and you don't have rent or mortgage, you would just put a 0. Your gas bill, if you have a gas bill, if you just have all electric and you don't have a gas bill, you would put 0, but whatever your gas bill was for last month. Gas for your car, how many times you had to fill up and how much you had to put for gas in your car for last month. Your cell phone bill for last month, how much in general you spent on groceries last month. If you have a car payment, what that was for last month. If you had to get anything fixed on your car, any kind of like repairs or anything like that, that would be what this is talking about. If you didn't have that, then you'd put a 0. If you are paying on student loans, whatever your amount was last month that you paid, you'd put there, otherwise 0. If you have a credit card and you made a credit card payment last month, whatever that was. Auto insurance, personal care could be anything from medical bills, anything like that you may have had to pay last month, that would go there. And then entertainment in general is just if you went out to eat, if you went to see a movie, if you did anything like that, just kind of tally that up for last month, the type of things that you spent money on for entertainment, and you'd put that amount here. And then they have a miscellaneous category. So if there's anything outside of any of these categories they already put that you had to spend money on last month, you would put that here. And as you're adding this information, it's going to be updating that first page of the spreadsheet. Or that's what it's supposed to do. So, and then on the fourth page, you're going to see a monthly savings. So if you have a savings account and you always try to put aside a certain amount of money each month for savings, or if you did it 2 or 3 different separate times last month, when you had a different paycheck coming in, you're going to put the amount that you put into savings last month here. If you didn't put anything into savings, then you would just put a 0 there. Now, if you download this spreadsheet to your computer, and as you're putting information in, it's not automatically updating for you, you'll just need to basically do this first page manually. So what I mean is you would still be able to, enter the information here. It'll still let you enter the information, but if it doesn't automatically update that first page for you, you can enter the information here manually, take a screenshot. so I can see like what your monthly income is. And then as you fill out this personal budget part, as you're putting all the amounts in, if it won't automatically update that first page of the spreadsheet for you, take a screenshot of this so then I can see all of the information that you put in for expenses. And then the same thing for this fourth page as far as savings. You can enter that information, take a screenshot of it if you put any money into savings and that first page doesn't automatically update for you. So that way I can see that you filled out all those the last three parts of the spreadsheet with all of your information, and I can see it. And then what you can do for this first page, if it doesn't automatically update for you, you can just manually update this. So you'd be able to put in whatever your monthly income is in here. You can manually just delete that out, the 2000, and then put whatever the amount is that your total monthly income is. And then add up all of your monthly expenses and just manually put it in here. If you put in anything into monthly savings, then you would just manually enter it here. And then basically the cash balance is whatever is left over once you've deducted your expenses and your savings from your monthly income. That's going to be whatever your leftover cash balance is, leftover funds, anything like that. And, if you overspent or you had to maybe borrow money from someone or something like that to cover some of the expenses or things that you had for the month, this might be a negative number. But basically, you're taking all of your monthly expenses, adding that up, and just subtracting it from your monthly income. And then if you did put money in savings, you're subtracting that from your monthly income. And then whatever is left over is going to be what's in this cash balance section. So once you complete that manually, if it didn't automatically update for you, then you'll also take a screenshot of this first page, basically giving me like the overall view of what the month was, expenses, savings, and then what your cash balance is. So that's what you can do if this spreadsheet, when you try to download it to your computer, if it will not automatically update for you as you're entering the information in these next three parts, then you can just do it manually and basically take a screenshot of it. So, and then just enter those screenshots that way if it won't automatically update for you. Most of my students have not had an issue and it will automatically update for them, but there has been occasions where they've had to do the screenshots and just basically manually enter the information and then upload their screenshots that way. But if it does automatically update for you, just save it after you've entered all your information into it and then go ahead and upload it to the assignment folder with all your information put onto it. And that will basically just give you a very good like overall look at your month last month, the things you spent money on, because you can really look at that. And when you're looking especially at that section for like entertainment or miscellaneous or maybe even some other bills that you have that potentially could be something that you could cut back on if you're trying to save more money for something else. It's just a good, really easy spreadsheet that you could use every single month to kind of keep track of everything if you wanted to, if you don't have another budgeting tool. So anyway, that is that. I'm going to try to go back to our week 6 folder once this all updates. Okay. And so basically that's our week 6 in a nutshell. That's the only one I really felt like I needed to explain in detail because as you do the rating, most of these other ones should be pretty self-explanatory. You're going to want to read taking notes before you complete this activity, and you're going to want to read the preparing for tests before you do this activity. And then, of course, you have your week 6 health and wellness bonus points if you're choosing to do that for some extra points. And then the course evaluations, if you choose to do the course evaluations, which we would appreciate, you're going to see a folder here that is going to be just for the course evaluations where you can upload your screenshot if you've completed it. Be aware too that after this week, it's going to be Thanksgiving break. So you're not going to have any class. There's not going to be anything due during Thanksgiving break. And then we're going to come back. This is not the right date. I have to update it, but you're going to come back on the 30th, on Monday, November 30th is when our week 7 is going to start. And then that's where we're going to kind of finish up with the last couple of weeks that we have. And then we are all done for the semester. So for next week, when you have Thanksgiving break, I hope you all have a great break. If you're choosing to stay home and kind of keep yourself social distance, or if you're choosing to spend time with family, I hope you have a great break. If you have some assignments that you need to get caught up with that you haven't completed, or maybe, you just didn't have time to do, next week is going to be a great time since we don't have additional assignments due next week. If you want to get caught up on anything that you want to try to get a late grade on or anything like that, go ahead and do that next week, and then just go ahead and submit those late so that way you can still get some points for them. It's a good time to get caught up if you need to. But otherwise, if you don't have assignments that you need to get caught up on, have a great week, take a good long break, get some sleep, eat a lot of food, and I will see you guys back on the 30th on that Monday. So, all right, have a good week.